For us to examine what is racist and what isn't racist, I think we first need to take a look at what exactly does the word race mean and how do we define a group of people as a race rather than just a group of individuals. So I looked up what the scientific community thinks about race and the definition associated with it, and I'm going to read some of what I found. While people often use the concept of race to make practical distinctions among fuzzy sets of traits, the scientific community feels that the idea of race is often used by the general public in a naive or simplistic way, erroneously designating wholly discrete types of individuals. Among humans, race has no cladistic significance. All people belong to the same subspecies, Homo sapiens sapiens. What that means is our family tree, we can all trace back to the same ancestry. There's not a different species that branched off and formed different species, like, say, what happened between maybe birds and lizards or dinosaurs. All humans come from the same humans. So what this is saying is that we all come from the same lineage. We all have common ancestors and are all, in some degree, distant relatives, if you will. Race is a social construct. At some point, we decided to classify different groups as races. And usually in modern terms, the way we define a race is by skin color. And you can look at people like Tiger Woods, Barack Obama. I'm not just going to list all the intermixes that I can think of, but the point is, we can interbreed. We're one species. We're all the same. Skin color is a trait. That's all it is. This is an interesting species called the Greenwich warbler. And it's interesting because it forms subspecies, and only certain subspecies can interbreed. And that is not like humans. Humans are all members of the same species and subspecies, and therefore any member of any race can interbreed with another member of a different race, as we perceive race based on traits such as skin color. Regardless of the extent to which race exists, the word race is problematic and may carry negative connotations. Social conceptions and groupings of race vary over time, involving folk taxonomies that define essential types of individuals based on perceived sets of traits. Scientists generally discourage racial explanations for collective differentiation in both physical and behavioral traits. What this is saying is that although certain diseases or genetic issues or whatever might be more prevalent in certain races or groups with the same skin color, to just say that, like sickle cell anemia is more prevalent in blacks because they are a member of the black race is wrong. I mean, sure, statistically speaking, that might be true, but it is not because they are a member of the black race. There's chemical, physical, biological reasoning for it, and that is what scientists should be more interested in. Skin color, for example, we all, studies suggest, come from the same ancestors, which is believed to be aboriginals, and we all migrated away to different parts of the world. And as we got to different parts of the world, it turned out that it is beneficial for people to have different skin tones based upon where they live. And that is why evolution changed our skin color. Now, that's just all it is. It's a difference of trait. Evolution selected for this trait to be more prevalent here and that trait there. But to just simply say that my skin is white because I'm a member of the white race, that's not true. It's not very scientific. Now, I don't want to say racism isn't around anymore because it's obvious that it still is. But I think a more accurate word to describe it would be prejudice. Because, if race is just a social construct, really the problem is people are prejudiced to people of a certain skin color. The only other point I want to make is about race and in modern terms is we can't change our skin color. Like, I can understand how we use the distinction race because it is an obvious thing you can see. But what makes racism bad or worse than maybe other forms of prejudice is that you can't change it. You're stuck with what you got. And to just say, like, oh, this group of people are this and this because of their skin color, it's ignorant. That's all it is.
We have all heard some absolutely incredible 9/11 conspiracy theories. The web, of course, is full of them. But tonight, we're bringing one out that feeds on racism. And we were absolutely shocked by one recent poll that found out that 1 in every 3 Americans believe the terror attacks were not the work of America's enemies, but some sort of inside job. And Deborah Farrick found a smaller percentage who believe an even uglier theory.
This 9/11 attack was not by 19 Arabs. It was not by Muslims.
They talk about a Jewish plot.
Everywhere you look, you find a Zionist agent.
A conspiracy by Israeli intelligence.
في اللحظات نفسها.
Or by Zionist moles in the Bush administration, allegedly calling the shots in the Middle East. Websites, magazines, documentaries, radio programs, dozens of them disputing the facts that Al-Qaeda was behind the 9/11 attacks.
It was done by a group of Zionists.
The difference between race and religion, and I use race in just the context that the general public does in modern times, is that I can convert to a different religion, but I can never convert to a different race. I can move down to some place in South America right along the equator, and I'm not going to magically change my skin color to look like a Latino or Hispanic. I might turn red from sunburn and look like a tomato, but you can't just convert your skin color. Like, I can never convert to black, but I could convert to Buddhism or Judaism or any other religion. Furthermore, to say that some of the people involved with 9/11 happen to be Jewish is not racist. And it's not saying that every Jew on this planet or all the Jews did 9/11. It's just saying that some of the people involved with 9/11 were Mossad agents working for the state of Israel. And to criticize the state of Israel, it's not racist, it's not anti-Semitic, it's criticizing another country for foreign policy. I criticize my own country for foreign policy. There's nothing racist about that. Like, what, am I racist against a melting pot? No, I'm criticizing a nation state that is America. And frankly, I think there were Israelis involved with this. And I'll say it, it's not racist.
Are you suggesting that Al-Qaeda had nothing to do with it, that this was all part of a large conspiracy, Zionist or otherwise?
Al-Qaeda is, in my opinion, has been exploited. I question whether such a group even exists.
Chicago writer Christopher Bolin is one of the conspiracy theorists.
I believe that there are Israeli elements that are connected to the Mossad that are involved in this attack.
There's no physical evidence to support claims that Jews were behind 9/11.
What?
The Israeli newspaper Ma'ariv has reported Israel's former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly said the September 11th attacks have been good for Israel. Netanyahu said, quote, "We're benefiting from one thing, and that is the attack on the Twin Towers and Pentagon and the American struggle in Iraq." End quote. Netanyahu then reportedly said these events, quote, "swung American public opinion in our favor."
Now, I've heard people say, why would Israel attack America? I don't know. Why would the Prime Minister think that America getting attacked on 9/11 was good for Israel? I don't know. It sounds like he thinks it's a good thing. Like, that sounds like a motive to me, but I don't agree with it. I don't know why he would say that, but he said it. He thinks it's good we got attacked.
And I would just like the story to be told so that the families of the crew that are still alive can have peace and closure and finally have the truth be told. That's all we want, is the truth to be told. You know, we don't want to be called anti-Semites and the rest of it, because we're not.
I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
In court, to prove something, they usually want to have motive, means, and opportunity. So we established a motive, and the leaseholder happens to be friends with a lot of ranking Zionists from the Israeli government, and he had the lease to the building. That means he had keys. He could let anyone into any part. He could hire whatever construction crews he wanted to come into the building.